All right, let's get started. Hey, folks. My name is Debbie, and I am the coordinator for Graduate Student Legal Aid Office. Welcome to today's GRadulting Workshop Series. The question of the day is, what should I know before I start a small business? So in addition to these workshops, like this awesome workshop on small businesses we're having today, we provide free virtual legal services to the University of Maryland's graduate students. So what does that mean? Well, it means 4 different things. First of all, we have an attorney on staff. His name is Zach Mundy, and Zach consults with students one-on-one in confidential consultations on a whole variety of topics. Once a month, we have an immigration attorney meet with students on, I think the next scheduled date for that is March the 10th. We have some student advocates on staff, Tara and Martin, and they help students that are charged with a violation of the university's code of conduct or the code of academic integrity. And finally, I am a notary. And so I am actually meeting with students in the office to notarize either personal documents or things that are academic related. It doesn't really matter. So if you would like more information about any of those services, just go to our website to schedule an appointment. So here's the groundwork for our workshop today. We will share the PowerPoint presentation and the recording after the workshop. So if you have to leave early, no worries. We will hold questions for the end of the workshop. And we ask that you post your questions in the chat. Near the end of the workshop, we will post a link to our 6-second survey. So please take 6 seconds to let us know, was this workshop helpful to you? We really need your feedback. And I think that's all for the housekeeping. Let's move on and introduce our speaker. Today, I am so pleased to welcome Diane Mcfarland. She is with the Maryland Small Business Development Center. She currently finds herself in Frostburg, Maryland, and we're hoping that her internet connection is cooperating today. So thank you so much, Diane, for joining us today. I feel so lucky to have you join us.
Well, thank you so much for the gracious comments. And yes, keep fingers crossed. We had terrible ice storm last night, so I'm crossing my fingers that everything works out well and we can maintain internet connectivity. So it's my pleasure to be here today. And I have talked to students at Frostburg State as well who are interested in going into business. So this is right up my alley because education is my background. So that's what's near and dear to my heart. And I get to continue now, since I'm no longer in public education, to continue with training for business owners, for students, anyone who's interested in going into business or starting a business or already in business, to help you survive and thrive. So again, it's great to be here with you today. Thanks so much for having me. And I did get some of your questions ahead of time. A few of you sent those in, so we'll answer those at the end if you don't already get an answer to them during the presentation. And since I had issues even bringing up my presentation today, thanks to Debbie, she'll be advancing the slides for us. So, okay, Debbie, next, please. All right, a lot of people say, you know, who is the SBDC? What are you? What is that? Well, we have small business development centers across the United States, in the country, out of the country. We just added some in Puerto Rico, Guam, Mexico. There are SBDC offices throughout our United States, and across Maryland, we have many offices, and we have a consultant in each county. who can help you with your business needs. And we have training that's now being offered on a statewide basis. Since our pandemic last year, I did mostly in-person seminars, but now with the pandemic as it is, we are able to reach a whole lot more of individuals and business owners who want to do some trainings that we offer. And the consulting services are offered to you at no cost. We help you with everything that you might possibly need. The assessments that you see listed on this first slide are just to get an idea of where you might be and how we can help you. So I'll talk a little bit more about all these as we go along. We'll help you with your business and your marketing plans. We won't do them for you, but we'll certainly help you with those and guide you to areas where you can get some expert help. And we may not have all the answers. And if I can't answer something that you may ask today or a question that you may have, we have experts in every field imaginable across our state in the different areas of business. And so we can connect you or get an answer for you right away. The trainings that we offer, there are 4 core topic classes. This one is actually the best place to start. It's Ready, Set, Go. Are you ready to start a business? And it just introduces you to the services, first of all, that the SBDC offers. And it also gets you thinking as to, is this something I really want to do? And is this the right move for me to make? The core topics include Ready, Set, Go. Are you ready to start a business? Developing a marketing plan, developing a business plan, and Smart Start Your Business. And I'll talk more about those as we progress through here. The Smart Start Your Business is a good class to take because you will hear me refer to your management team throughout this presentation. That is always a good idea to start planning, start assembling right up front. Your business management team includes your accountant, an attorney, a business banker, a business insurance broker, and your SBDC consultant. He or she is available to you at no cost. So always take advantage of the SBDC consulting services. The others do require a fee at some point in time, but it's still a good idea to start assembling that team early. Specialty topics. We have many, many, many specialty topic classes. They range from marketing. That's our #1 request. Could I please get somebody in to talk about search engine optimization or creating a website, or how do I use Google Analytics? So we have many, 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 many classes on marketing. We also have a lot of legal topics, and we have attorneys come in and present. If we don't have an internal consultant or a trainer do the classes, present the classes, we bring in outside experts. So we do have, we can always find someone to speak on any topic that you may need. So the accounting, taxes, oh, that's a big one. The accounting procedures, understanding your financial statements. So any specialty topic you can think of, we do offer that. And the virtual trainings, right now, I'm happy to let everyone know that finally, after a few years working on a project, it's coming to fruition. We will have, it'll be a website that you can go to and access our classes. They'll be recorded. It's just like on demand. You can watch it when you want to watch it. And we've just started doing this within the last 2 months. So it's not together yet, but we are recording and editing and doing everything that we need to get these webinars. And it'll be just like I'm doing here, or an outside presenter or one of our consultants. It will be presenting a topic that you may need. Next, please. So I'll make sure that Debbie gets that information to share with you when we do get that online platform up and running. The SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, we used to be called the SBTDC. And man, that was a mouthful. Small Business Technology Development Center. We're still that. But as with any business, it's so very important that your branding is consistent. And if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the red, white, and blue, America's SBDC. We went with that maybe 3, 4 or so years ago. And we're consistent across the United States. When you see that logo, you'll know that's the Small Business Development Center of some state. So that is, even though we took the technology component out of our title, we still offer that assistance to you. And what that is getting you to a lender, getting your loan packages, your financials together. We can help you with the certifications application. And if you ever hear of a certification or an application, check into that, because it's usually something good, particularly if you want to sell to the government. You need to have some of these certifications. The 8A certification, for example, is SBA, the Small Business Administration's effort to promote equity among all the business owners, put everyone on a equal or a level playing field where you can start from there, and for the economically disadvantaged, you can get some assistance. The MDOT, as you can see, that second bullet, the Maryland Department of Transportation, that's just the branch of government that holds another certification area. And when you see all these letters, it's MBE, DBE, AC, DBE, SBE, all that. I know it sounds like, what is this alphabet soup? It is another certification. And the minority business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise. When you see the AC, disadvantaged business enterprise, that's airport concessions. Who knows, you might want to sell to an airport. And then the last one, SBE, is a small business enterprise. And all these applications, again, give you a chance, a better chance of selling to the government, either a product or a service. So there's veterans certification, there's women's small business certification. There are a lot of the different certifications that when you see a class offered, you might want to take it, or you might want to inquire about it. Some require you being in business a couple years. Some you can self-certify within 20 minutes. So they're different. They each range in difficulty of applying as well. But we can help you with that. And if we can't help you, we can certainly guide you to someone who can. Government procurement. We can help you with selling to the government. Market research. That is extremely, extremely important. And I'll talk about this a little bit later on, but we can guide you as to how to do that and where to do that. We have a lot of people ask us, is it important that I get a professional help me critique my business plan? Yes, absolutely it is. But again, keep in mind that your SBDC consultant can review that plan for you. He or she has had much experience doing that. And again, our services come at no cost. So take advantage of us. Next, please. All right, looking at those questions to decide, you would be surprised the number of people who have not taken into consideration some of these ideas that are fairly important when starting a business. You know, do you have the startup money to invest? And normally when you go to a lender, you need to have 20% of that cash on hand. That's called your equity. You need to have that equity. A lender will give you up to 80% of what you're asking. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get that other 20% from a secondary source, a secondary lender, but you still need at least some cash. So to put, whoops, jump back. Sorry. That's okay. The startup money you have to invest, because you have to show a lender that you are a good ROI, a return on investment, and that you've heard the phrase, I'm sure, skin in the game, that you're giving what you can give into this project, because any lender wants to know that they're going to get their money back. You need to do some work ahead of time and do some research, know what your monthly expenses will be. And I recommend you start making a list. Just jot down when you have a minute, or when you think of something that your business might need as a startup, jot that down. Have you done your research in the marketplace? Is there a need? Do you know with whom you're competing? Do you know your competitors? Do you know your target market? So these are things that we do need to know that you've thought through thoroughly, and they're just ideas to just keep you always thinking. Next, please. Thank you. And of course, an entrepreneur is someone who starts his or her own business. And I'm going to get into some of this a little bit later, but these characteristics and traits are pretty important. Can you plan and organize? Can you work long hours? Because it isn't always, even though there's a book out there now, the 4-Hour Work Week, very seldomly can you, starting a business, do it in 4 hours a week. it's long hours, especially startups. You pretty much have to devote 24/7 and be on call all the time when you're starting your business, at least in the beginning. And that way you are invested in it. You know what's going on. You know what problems, if you encounter, what to do, how to handle that. And lastly, that's listed on this slide, how will it affect those with whom you live, your family, your loved ones. Next, please. These traits, the SBDC did, they do polls all the time. And the traits of an entrepreneur, these were the ones that we found that are most apparent and in those entrepreneurs and business owners who were successful. And as I go through this list, just think to yourself, do I possess this trait? 1, 2, 3, maybe all of them. But do you have the knowledge and the experience to do what you're doing? Do you have that wisdom and that know-how and what that business may need? Do you have a need to succeed or to accomplish something? Are you a self-starter? Are you not satisfied with the way things are right now, either in your life, in your community, and you want to make a change? Are you positive? Do you have a positive mindset, a positive feeling about what you might be doing? Are you passionate and almost to the point where you're obsessed? This is the thing that's on your mind all the time. You think about this business and you always have a new idea, a new thought about it. Are you resourceful, creative, imaginable? Can you communicate with all levels? Because when you are running a business, you do have to interact with a lot of different people. So you have to be able to communicate with everyone that you come in contact. And lastly, are you determined, diligent? Are you almost dedicated and, again, obsessive with the thought that you want that business to not only survive, but thrive? If you could say yes to any of those, or even to 1 or 2, then you're well on your way, because these are the traits of a successful business owner. Next, please. You see listed on this slide the advantages of owning your own business. And looking at those, the number one response that we get, why I want to own a business, is because I want to be my own boss. Next, please. But with that being said, you always have a boss, no matter who you are. And normally in a business, it is the customers. They pretty much tell you what to do. Of course, you have the government. They know, they're telling you how to do this, what to do, how to respond, how much you have to pay. So you do have other bosses, but again, you can be your own boss to a certain extent. It is a financial risk. The hours are long and hard, as I already mentioned to you. You can't quit, and you're the one who has to make the decisions, but you're always going to have the naysayers and the pessimists and the worry warts. So if you have this burning desire to be a business owner, don't let anyone stand in your way. Go ahead with it, proceed with it, because you will survive and you will succeed and thrive. Next, please. Okay, there are 3 different types of businesses. Most people want to do a startup, most. And that's, again, starting from the bottom, creating what you want to do. It's your goal. It's what you want to do. You can buy an existing business. You can buy a franchise. And they're both another business, but they are already confirmed in the community. So there is maybe an advantage here, because people know what to expect from a franchise and an existing business. They are you're confirmed in the community. So people do know what to expect. We're starting out. There are a few more costs that are hidden that you may not see. But by the time you've written that financial projection and your business plan, you will see all these. But there are 3 different types of business for you to choose from. Next, please. All right, and I know this was one of the questions that one of you asked prior to this, but the legal forms of business. I don't get into this a lot right here. I'll briefly go over it, but the reason for that being is When you decide what you want to do, it is best to sit down and talk with your consultant, your SBDC consultant, and or an attorney and or an accountant. Start with your SBDC person, because that, again, comes to you at no charge, that person. But the tax implications are major in deciding which legal form, legal entity is best for you to choose for your business. A proprietorship is simply where there is a sole owner. It's just you. Partnership, you can have a general partnership or a limited partnership. The limited partnership usually has one or two, it's a smaller amount of partners. And with a limited partnership, those people in that capacity are only liable for what they've invested. The general partnership, each partner can incur obligations on behalf of the partnership, but you're responsible for the liability of what you're invested in. There are corporations, S, C, B. S and C are normally the two that we deal with. A benefit corporation, which is the B, that is one that we tend to steer from, especially if you're a startup, unless you are a nonprofit, because a benefit corporation normally gives part of the proceeds, part of your gross revenue, part of your income to a charity or to a benefit or to a benefactor, something where you're giving portions of your income away. A limited liability company, the LLC, most everyone starts there because that one provides the operational flexibility and the advantages of a proprietorship all wrapped in one. But again, looking at all four of these, a proprietorship or a limited liability company, an LLC, are usually where people begin. You can always change if your business grows, or if your consultant or your attorney or your accountant tells you, you know, this legal entity may be better for you because of this tax implication. So again, we have to know what your business is and get some facts before we can say, oh, you want an S corp, or you want to be a partnership, or a proprietorship would be best for you. So again, we have to sit down and talk with you and decide which one would be best. Next, please. Okay, licensing. No matter what business you're in or what area you are promoting your services or your products, you have to have a permit, you have to have a license. There's something that you need. And the best thing we can tell you to do is, I'll be talking about it at website to go here in a few minutes, but the best place to start is with your clerk of the court in your county. You can go to your health department. You can talk with them, just give them a call, or you can research this on their websites. But you have to decide, because what you need, depending on your location and the product or the service that you're selling. And no matter where you are, it varies. It varies from county to county, city to city, town to town. So within our state, for example, in Frederick, you have to be very, very careful. If you're opening a restaurant and you want to have a liquor license, there are some dry spots, as are in my county, Allegheny, as in Garrett County. There are dry spots where you cannot get a liquor license, or you can't get a beer and wine license. So you have to do your homework prior to buying a business or buying a building or locating here. Find all that out first, and your market research will help you do that. Any research you do prior to opening that business. Okay, next. Thank you. The Maryland Business Express. This is a golden nugget for sure. And this presentation is available to you, that you can just go to here and click when you get the presentation. But it is a one-stop shop for you. You can register your business. You can select your name. You can check what taxes, set up tax accounts. Next, please. as you can see on that last slide too, you can get your permits through this Business Express. You can create all the tax accounts, as I just said. SDAT, the State Department of Assessment and Taxation, you can go here and research a name to see if it's available for you to use for your business. For example, and again, I go back to Frederick because I've done so many in-person trainings there that I'm pretty familiar with that community. There used to be a restaurant called Cheeseburgers in Paradise. Well, Jimmy Buffett's guys team got hold of that. And of course, it was too close to his logo, and they had to change the name of their business. But if you go to the SDAT and search for all existing business names, put yours in, you will come up with if it's approved or not, or if you can use that name. If you went to Dairy Queen, okay, you probably can't do a Dairy King because it's too close. But the SDAT will help you search for existing names and alert you to anything that you may need to look for. On this, at this Maryland Business Express, you can pick your legal entity that you want to do. So you can register there as well. Next, please. You can get your EIN, which is your employer identification number, or your FEIN, which is your federal employee identification number. And what that is like a social security number for your business. So this is the IRS website, and you can get this very quickly. You can establish all the tax accounts that you will need and at the website that you see listed there through the comptroller's office. Next, please. Okay, and if you don't, I mentioned a few minutes ago that you can go to your clerk of the court, which is a great starting spot to find what permits or what licenses you may need. There's a website right there for you that you can click and see what's relevant to where you are and what you want to do. The OSHA, the safety and health regulations, you can check those out and see what's required, what you may need, what you may not need. And then that last resource list is a good resource just to see a few other tips and tidbits for you. Next, please. All right, and this is one where Debbie set up a poll for you. The U.S. Small Business Administration states that over blank of small businesses fail in the first year and blank fail within the first 5 years. Can you, okay, there you go. If you would pick one of those, we want to see how close you come to. The first number would be how many businesses fail, the percentage that fail in the first year. And the second number is what fails in the first 5 years. Okay, we'll give it another. Okay, 11 of you. 3 more need to vote. Okay, well, looking at that, most people guess 95-60. You're pretty close. The number one answer is 85-50. 85% of the businesses fail in the first year, and 50% fail within the first 5 years. So what do you think why? What are the reasons for the business failing? Well, the number one reason businesses fail is a lack of planning. It's hard to believe that, but a lack of planning. So if we recommend that you begin, some businesses you don't have to plan as much as others, but if you can take up to a year, 6 months to a year, you should be pretty much ready to go by then. But plan like there's no tomorrow. The other reasons, and normally I would be asking you this in person, but there's not enough funding. You don't have initial capital to invest. You didn't allot for all the one-time investments that you have to make. Maybe you didn't really think of the long-term plans for equipment you may need. Unexpected growth. That's a reason for failure as well. No website. I know in today's world, it's hard to believe that businesses may not have a website. Our governor said in one of his speeches not too long ago, maybe about 6 months ago, that 50% of the Maryland businesses do not have a website. That amazes most people. But if he said it, I don't know where he got that fact, but I'm sure that it's pretty much on target. So it is crucial that you have a website. 92%, and I'm sure within the last couple months, that this number may have even gone up, but this was around Christmas time. But 92% of the people research a product or service before they buy it. So it is crucial that you have some kind of web presence. A lot of people say low sales is a reason for failure, and that's a reason too. You didn't plan properly. Again, it all boils back to planning properly. Next slide, please. Okay, this was a survey that the SBA did, and they surveyed 2,000 people who were business owners, and those who were successful spent the 6 to 10 months in research and planning. Those that spent less than 4 months did not make it. Of those who were successful, 90% used professionals. Those who failed, only 25% used professionals. And remember, I mentioned way back, your professional team, your attorney, your accountant, your business banker, your insurance broker, and your SBDC consultant, use all of them. And again, I'll reiterate, use your SBDC consultant because he or she can assist you in every stage of your business planning and growth and development. Of these 2,000 people that were surveyed, 70% of those who were successful, 70% took classes just as you're doing. You're getting your degrees, I'm thinking, in business. I think this is all business class. So any of these workshops or webinars or seminars that you can attend, and most of ours are all offered at no cost. And we have not charged, the SBDC has not charged anything over this last year during the pandemic, just to help business owners. So, take advantage of all of these classes. Read as much as you can. Just absorb, be like a sponge and absorb everything you can about your business idea and what it may take. Those who made it, those who didn't. Those who failed, only 10% read literature or took any further education classes. And lastly, those who were successful, more than half said they started with modest expectations and were patient for signs of success. Those who failed, 35%, expected to make the money right up front. Usually that does not happen, even if you're buying an existing business or if your business is already in existence, not a franchise. You normally, when there's a change of hands, you don't make as much money up front. Next, please. Your business plan, pretty crucial. This is your GPS. And if you don't know where you're going, how will you get there? That's what your business plan is. It's a document. It's a living document. It is a working document. It's not something you do to initially and then put it on a shelf. A lender wants to see your business plan. And we want you to eventually have to borrow some money, even though you might bootstrap your business up front, meaning you have no plans to borrow any money to start with. But a banker, if you do not have a business plan, or a lender, if you do not have a business plan, they will send you to us to do one. So you have to plan. Planning. You'll hear me say that over and over. You'll get sick of hearing me saying it probably. But the business that fails to plan plans to fail. Next, please. It's the most important document. Spend the time. What's most important on this slide? Spend the time. Do it properly. Next, please. Why do it? Well, the thinking and the evaluation that you do prior to writing a business plan is probably more important than what you actually put in that business plan. Let me say that again. The thinking and the evaluation that you do prior to writing your business plan is probably more important than what you actually put in that written plan. And that's because you have your mind open to every obstacle you're going to meet, every need you might have, what you have to address for customers, what you have to address for employees, what you have to address for yourself. The business plan, it establishes the feasibility of your idea. It sets realistic benchmarks, milestones, and you will meet those. And again, it helps you stay on that beaten track. There'll be, when you're on this path moving along, there'll be changes that you have to make to your business plan. Well, you jump off that beaten trail, make those changes, and hop right back on. So it keeps you focused. It keeps that target in mind constantly. And again, as I mentioned to you, dazzle your banker. And if you don't have a business plan, he or she will not see you. Next, please. Your financial management plan is your financial projections, and we can help you do that. This is the part that people are somewhat thrown with in the business plan, but we have so many financial experts with our consultants across our state, and as does any SBDC in any state. But we can, if one may be an expert in marketing, one may be an expert in working with daycares, one may be an expert doing the financial projections. And we have several of those across the state. And we have programs that you supply us with the numbers. We put these numbers into this program and it kicks out your financial management plan for you. So your projections are part of your business plan, and they can be done rather easily. So don't worry about that. That's not a problem. When you go to talk to your consultant, a good thing to take with you. Now, when I say go see them, when we used to see them in person, but when you have an initial consultation with them, whether it's online or on the phone, a lot of people just call, but have your estimated costs for maybe 6 months, your operating expenses, your cash flow projections, that will come from your financials, but start thinking about those. We always say you need to go back 3 years. Well, if you're just starting, you don't have any last year's tax returns, or you don't have any projections, you are guessing. But again, we can help you with those projections. There's a lot of help out there. And one thing, again, that I'll mention here, your own equity, that's what you want to start working on too, saving that 20% of what you think you might have to borrow to invest, that cash. Your equity is your cash that you would be investing. Next, please. All right, these next several slides are questions that need to be part of your business plan that you now have to consider and you now have to include. And I'm not going to read these next several slides to you because you'll be able to go back and look at these. But we are seeing that business plans are changing a bit now compared to what they were a year ago, because you have to include the challenges that COVID-19 has presented. And if you've tried something, or what should you do if this or that happens? Next, please. When you write your business plan, today during the COVID-19 crisis, you have to plan a bit differently. You have to add new components to these plans. And you might want to do this separately, because hopefully you won't always have to include this in your plan. But if this new business venture is directed toward assisting with COVID needs, then you have to include how your business plan shifts if the virus is eradicated. Next, please. If the business venture is not COVID related, such as manufacturing or retail, then what are your immediate plans in dealing with reduced business needs, or reduced business expenditures, or reduced revenue coming in during the COVID-19 time? And next, please. And more thinking along these lines is it reasonable to attain proper cash flow based on reduced revenues? Next, please. And what if the virus remains with us into next year, along with various government restrictions or shutdowns if they come back, and if they're enforced? What are you showing in your plan to address such occurrences? So these are all these questions on those last few slides were things you need to consider. And you might want to make this a separate component, but still include it in your business plan, particularly right now and in the immediate future that we see. Next, please. Okay, funding sources. People say, where can I get my startup money? Where can I obtain any money to help me get up and running? Well, you have family and friends, and they're sort of like the angel investors. Usually family, friends, angel investors, they want something in return for their investment. They either want a paycheck, they want dividends, they want to be part owner in your business. We don't always encourage friends and family, even though that might be a good source for some people. It's pretty darn hard to face your family and friends if you can't pay them back. So again, once you plan this business plan and you've looked at your financial projections, you'll be able to see if and when you can pay back someone from whom you've borrowed money. It makes it pretty difficult, like I said, if you have to face your family and friends at a holiday dinner or something and sit down with them and you're sitting across the table and you know you owe them money. So that's something to think about. It's an option, it is a source, but think it long and through before you actually do any of these. Decide which is best for you. Home equity lines of credit and loans, they're no longer tax deductible, but it is an option. The suppliers, vendors. We have a hair salon here in Allegheny County where one of her suppliers gave her $10,000 up front to open her business. All he was hoping she would do was continue to use his products, which she intended to do. So you do have some suppliers and vendors out there. You've got to get to know them, and you've got to see if they're willing to do something like that. Just as you can bargain or negotiate with a credit card to get your interest rate down, you can do that with your suppliers and vendors. They'll set up terms for you. If you need equipment or you need supplies, they may set up terms that they'll give you it up front and you can pay them 3 months down the road, maybe 90-day extension on when you make your first payment. We don't recommend you do that with your customers when you're first starting a business, but your suppliers and vendors will and can set that up for you. Angel investors, of course, as I said, they want something in return for what they're investing. And throughout the state, no matter where you are, there are angel investors available to you. And what you do is you go before them and do like a business pitch, a business plan pitch, and they may ask you some questions. And then the audience members, those who are in that group who are invested in that, some will come to you and say, yeah, I'll give you so much money for this in your business. So there are these groups throughout the state. Credit cards. I always cringed when I heard our consultants say, oh yeah, you can use credit cards for business startups. And I finally have come around to, okay, but a word of caution, be very, very careful if you use a credit card for a business startup. Now, with that being said, if you only need to borrow between $8,000 and $15,000, and I say only, that is a relatively small amount for a business startup. If you can get a credit card that has a very, very low interest rate, you might be good to go. And you want to be very careful, though, on that interest rate, because by the time you go to a lender and pay the fees involved and the time it takes to do that, you may be better off to use a credit card. Again, if it's a very small startup amount that you're needing. Talk that over with your consultant before you make any snap judgments on that, because you can go under very quickly with too much credit on a credit card. So again, a small amount's considered $8,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 up to $15,000 might be an okay choice to make to use for starting a business. And that last the tip there for you, you can click on that. Just different ways to ask for money from different people. Next, please. Big one. This slide's pretty important. There are 5 C's of credit. The character refers to your personal borrowing history. And believe me, when you go to take out a loan, the lender will look at everything imaginable from your past, how you've repaid loans, how you've paid your bills. So your character, again, refers to you, your borrowing history. The capacity, that is, are you able to pay back a loan? You've heard of debt ratio, I'm sure. Are you making enough with whatever you're doing, your job or your business, is that going to be making enough to give you money to pay this? Do you have that ability? Is the environment right? Is the economy in the world right today for you to be able to pay back your loan? Credit score used to be 7 to 850 was really good. SBA, SBDC, and lenders have dropped that to 650. There are ways to raise your credit score, and these do work if you are persistent and patient to watch that number raise. So again, remember, you want it 650, 700 and up. That's great. That's fantastic if you can get it there. In a few ways I'm going to mention to you today are, again, ones that have worked with our business owners, and they do work. I can guarantee you they do work. One is never use any more than 30% of your available credit limit. You have $10,000 credit limit on a card. Do not exceed 3,300. That's about a third. Okay, if you have a $300 credit limit, do not exceed $100. Keep it under that 30%. If you have your maxed out cards, or you have cards that you've exceeded this credit limit, the 30% particularly I'm speaking about right now, call your credit card company, negotiate with them, ask for some more credit. Don't use it, but it's there. And if you do not exceed your 30%, that credit score moves up. You can see a change in 3 months. Pay your debts before the due date. When you get your bills in the mail or online, however you receive them, pay them then. Don't wait till that due date. And once you get on that schedule, once you get on a rotating schedule that every month you pay them as soon as they come in, you will be amazed how quickly you will see your credit score go up. Of course, and I'm sure you know this, pay more than the credit, more than the minimum payment due. Even if it's $10 more, pay more than the payment. Show good discipline history. Don't close out accounts. Use a credit card, even if, and I know this here, I'm telling you to use credit cards, but listen to what I'm saying here in the respect that use your credit card. And if you make a purchase with a credit card, don't pay it off. Again, you will incur a bit of interest, finance charge with this. Don't pay it off that first month. If you put $100 on a credit card, pay it off over 2, maybe 3 months. Now, I'm not talking about a giant amount. I'm talking about a relatively small amount. Because if you pay your credit card off in a month, that just looks like it's another bill that you're paying off. It's not giving your credit the credit score, the chance to build. Whereas if you pay it off over 2-3 months, you're showing you have your character is good, you have the capacity to do it, and that will show that you are good at paying off your credit cards, your balance. If you can pay them off once a year, do that. Get it to the point where you can. Another thing, if you have a lot of credit cards, start working on that top one, the one that you owe the most. Pay on that one. You've probably heard this advice given too. Then when you get that one paid off, don't close it, keep it, because if you close your credit, that's not showing your history. And history is one of the components that builds that credit score. But then once you get that top credit card paid off, put that much in addition to what you were paying on the second one off. So that just keeps it going. It'll take a little time to do that, but you will get in the best credit position of your life. And we do recommend, as any credit institution does, that you check your credit pretty regularly. It is a soft hit, meaning you're not zapped for that. If you check, you don't lose points if you check your credit score. And you can check that at annualcreditreport.com. Again, that's annualcreditreport.com. Collateral. Collateral is your secondary source of loan repayment. Of course, cash flow is your number one, and you'll be able to show that in your business plan. The cash flow is the collateral, but your secondary source of loan repayment could be, we don't like to have you put up a home for sale, but perhaps a vehicle if you need to, a parcel of land. And you can even use equipment that you have for your business. You can use purchase orders, that can be used as collateral. So there are other forms of collateral out there other than a home. The capital, of course, is what money you have, that 20% equity that you have that you can invest in this business venture. Next, please. Cash is king. You've heard that over and over. And Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, many people have said cash is king. And it is truly, truly important. Cash is the most critical thing to keep in your mind. Next, please. Marketing plan is separate from your business plan, but you do need to have the marketing plan. It helps you identify your customers, your target markets, your competitors. Be prepared to spend the time doing your marketing and advertising in the beginning. The marketing is selling you and your product. The advertising is getting the word out to everyone. So it's important that you do your marketing as well. Next, please. There are pitfalls. Shortage of paying customers. And as I said earlier, don't establish credit up front for your new customers. Down the road, you might can do that, but not up front. Too much business can take you under just as quickly as not enough. So there are pitfalls that you have to be aware of, but once you do your business plan, you will be aware of the pitfalls. Next, please. The laws of survival. Plan, because then when something or more than something, everything goes wrong, you're prepared. You know what to do. You know how to handle it. So once you've done that business planning, doesn't matter what goes wrong because you know how to handle that. Don't underprice yourself. Don't overprice yourself. Be right in the middle. Check out your competitors. Cold call them. One of the questions, cold call your customers. Cold call other businesses. And just ask them, hey, what are you charging? How do I price this? Most of the time, unless you're a threat, someone in the same business you do is more than willing to share their what's going on with their business. We tell people in Frederick, a good thing to do is call people in Salisbury. They're two similar communities. If you're not good at this calling and asking, what you need to know, find another community that's similar to where you want to open your business. Call them, ask them. And I'm not encouraging you to lie, but you can pretend you're a customer. You're just trying to find out the prices. Everybody does that. It's not unusual. Avoid your major delays, your major purchases. One of our clients wanted to start a business, a bakery, and she wanted ultimately 5 ovens. She didn't need 5 to start with. She only needed 1. She's up to 3 right now, so she's doing well. And the last thing on here, be totally ethical and completely honest. Not only is that the right thing to do, but it is, your checks and balances are there in place for you. The government knows what you're doing and keeps an eye on you. Next, please. Some final thoughts just as we go here, learn from your mistakes. And these are common sense things, but business owners don't always take the time to think about the common sense things. So continue what you're doing. Take your classes. Do your reading on your business. Find out about your competitors. Find out about your target market, who you'll be selling to your product or service to. Next, please. These are some pointers that you can do. I mentioned the 4 core topic classes up front. They're listed there. We have a Smart Start assessment on our website that you can find there at marylandsbdc.org. Check out our website. There's a lot of good things on there. There's some SBA virtual learning sessions right now. They're okay. We're working on what I told you, the online learning platform that you'll be able to access within the next few months. Live Plan. This is an excellent resource for writing a business plan. And I've included there for you the Maryland discount code link. It comes out to about $9.95 a month. Sometimes you can it is a subscription type service. You can they offer sometimes a subscription for 3 months. Sometimes it's 6 months. So check that out. We can help you with that. And again, it boils down to about $9.95 a month. One thing with that is you can identify a contributor And that contributor can be your SBDC consultant, and he or she can work on this your business plan with you. Website companies, these are a few mentioned that have been very successful. WordPress seems to be the #1 for businesses starting out and wanting to have some web presence. Next, please. And there you go again, is the website, marylandsbdc.org, and the training calendar link. Click that, look at all these classes we offer. I do classes at least 4 to 5 a week, and they're offered throughout the state, no cost right now. Again, take advantage of our consulting, our training. When you first register for a class with us, there's some questions you have to answer, but after that, it's one button click. So the training link, you can look and see what's there, but it's all kinds of classes, and you are more than welcome to join us for any of the classes. I would be more than happy to have you. Again, you can reach out to me. I have a Frostburg email address right now, Frostburg State University. I also do have a University of Maryland, because I'm transferring over totally to University of Maryland within the next few months. And all that means is we have host universities throughout and colleges throughout the state who host us, meaning they keep us in their campus community. And I'm right now at Frostburg because I live in Frostburg. So these are, this concludes my presentation. I know I do have the questions that a couple of you sent in, and I think I answered some of those, but absolutely it's okay to ask email competitors or call them. I'd call them, because they'll quickly tell you more so than waiting on an email. You can let them know. And again, if you don't seem to be a threat to them in their business, they'll probably answer your questions. The best way to calculate your startups, talk to your consultant. Okay, talk to your consultant. Make that list of the items that you need to begin. You can set up your taxes through Maryland Business Express, those tax accounts. And again, I talked about how you determine a legal entity. So if you need to talk to us about that, we can help you decide what's best for you to start with. Again, your accountant can tell you the best way to file your taxes and what you need for what, if it's an LLC, sole proprietor, he or she can give you such good advice. It's not, keep that management team in the forefront. And I don't know about the campus departments that can help you with the University of Maryland, but I'm sure Debbie can, or Martin can share that information. So with that being said, please reach out anytime. I'm more than happy to help you with anything that I can. Thanks for having me.
Well, it looks like we have a question for you, Diane.
Okay.
So before we let you go, I'd love to share that with you. The question is, what are the major differences between starting in Maryland versus Virginia, especially when it comes to taxes?
Oh, there are major differences with every state. Some tax goods, some tax services. Again, you have to do your homework there first to answer this. And I'm not putting off the answer to this question. You have to do your homework and see, and you do have to register. If you start out in Maryland, but you move to Virginia, you have to register in their state as well and go through all the same steps. But your consultant can help you with that. And again, your homework is to research and see what's needed in each state, because it does vary from county to county, like I said, state to state.
Here's another one. How can we go about finding angel investors?
Sometimes there are ads in a newspaper. Sometimes there are ads online. Most of our consultants across the state know if there is an angel investment group within that county. There is, for the Frederick people, there is one, and I'm trying to think of the name of that group, and it slipped my mind right now, but it is an angel investor group, and they post, they usually do these ads in the newspaper. But again, talk to your consultant. He or she can guide you to that. And if you send me an email and tell me in what county you are, I can certainly connect you with your consultant.
That'd be great. There's another question. Is there any government funding available for startup during the pandemic or support business due to COVID?
Yes. We're on a second round, and it's called the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. That was one. And a lot of the money that is being offered through that is, some of it is being forgiven. And your consultant can guide you to that. There's a PPP, it's called, and that was a loan that was given to businesses to help the paying your employees, a continuation to be able to pay your employees. And some of that is being forgiven. There are updates a couple times a week. So we just try to keep up with that information on a daily basis. And it's changing, but we can Google EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, and the PPP program. And you can find that. And I'm just thinking everyone's in state here. You may, I'm sure some of your, everyone online today is not just from Maryland, and it varies from state to state. But there's a lot of money being out there being made available to you, and it's called through the CARES funding. I will tell you, there are very few grants available. Seldomly can you get a grant. Communities or counties are sometimes have grants available every once in a while, but they're hard to find.
All right, I just saw a question about, will this recording be posted on our website? And yes, if all goes well, it will be posted later today, certainly by tomorrow. And we will send out the recording to everyone who registered, whether you attended or not.
And please reach out. I hope this was beneficial to you, and you're at least walking away with one nugget of information. And I am more than happy to talk to you individually or send you to someone who can answer more questions if you have them.
Yeah. We understand starting a business is so complex, as you laid out here, but you did a great job of covering a little bit of everything and letting us know that there are a lot of resources out there for people who want to jump in and try to start a small business. So, Diane, I'm seeing thank yous from the students. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you to the students who joined us live. It's always good to be together. So have a good week, everyone, and take care of yourselves.
And thank you again for having me. Good luck, everyone. Take care. Stay safe and healthy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.